Welcome to Cheating Tales, where trust is broken, secrets are exposed, and hearts are shattered. Every story you hear is raw, real, and unforgettable. Sit tight. Because the truth always finds its way out. I never imagined that betrayal could come from the two people I trusted most in the world. If someone had told me a year ago that my wife, the woman I loved, supported, and built a life with, would cheat on me with my best friend, I would have laughed it off. But life has a cruel way of proving us wrong. It all started a few months after our 5th wedding anniversary. Laura and I had been together for nearly a decade. We weren't perfect, but we had a rhythm, or so I thought. The kind of rhythm that gets you through bills, work, long nights, and harder years. And then there was Mark, my childhood best friend. He knew everything about me, my secrets, my fears, the ugly chapters I rarely spoke of. When I think back, maybe the signs were there, but love makes you blind, or worse, trusting. They say if you put a frog in boiling water, it'll jump out. But if you slowly raise the temperature, it'll stay until it dies. That's what happened to me. A slow, rising boil of deception. Mark was always around. At first, it made sense. He was single, lonely, and he'd always been like an uncle to our kids. Yes, we had two, Jacob and Ellie, ages 6 and 3. That's what makes all of this worse. It wasn't just about me and Laura. This betrayal broke something deeper. Something in my kids that I'm not sure will ever fully heal. It was a Saturday afternoon when I saw it with my own eyes. I wasn't supposed to be home. I'd taken the kids to my sister's place for the weekend, but Ellie had gotten a fever, and we came back early. I walked into the kitchen quietly, carrying her sleeping in my arms, and there they were, not kissing, not touching, just looking at each other, but I saw it in their eyes. That desperate, guilty pause, that sudden space they put between themselves as if they hadn't just been whispering something that had no place between them. The rest of the evening, I said nothing. I nursed Ellie back to health, read bedtime stories, sat with Jacob until he fell asleep. Then I went to the garage, sat in my car, and screamed. A deep, broken scream that no one heard but me. The affair had been going on for 8 months. 8 months of deception, of lies about work events, of helping Mark through a tough time, of pretending everything was okay while my own home was being carved into pieces behind my back. When I confronted her, properly, with evidence, screenshots, phone logs, voice messages they forgot to delete, she broke down. She didn't fight it. That hurt more than if she had lied. She cried, told me it was a mistake, that it started with a few drinks and conversations while I was busy with work and the kids. That he was someone she could talk to, that she missed feeling seen. I asked her one question. Why didn't you come to me? She couldn't answer. She just sobbed into her hands while I stood in the kitchen, hollow and cold. The fallout wasn't cinematic. It wasn't fiery or violent. It was quiet. Days of cold shoulders and separate sleeping arrangements, legal meetings, custody agreements, telling the kids that mommy and daddy were taking time apart. But the most painful part was Mark. He was like a brother. We'd grown up together, survived loss together. He knew my parents, who died in a car accident when I was 19. He knew how I blamed myself for not being with them that night. He knew everything, and yet he did this. He walked into my life, into my home, into my marriage, and tore it apart. He tried to apologize. A few weeks after I filed for divorce, he came to see me. I didn't open the door. I stood behind it, listening to him plead, cry, beg. I almost opened it, but then I remembered Jacob's face the night he asked, "Why? Isn't Uncle Mark coming to my soccer game anymore?" I couldn't let that man back into our lives. Lavra and I now co-parent. It's awkward, painful, and sometimes bitter, but we keep it civil for the kids. They don't know the full truth. One day, maybe when they're older, they'll understand. Or maybe they'll never need to know. I moved to a smaller house on the edge of town. It's quiet, peaceful. I've taken up carpentry, something I used to love before life got in the way. I build furniture now, tables, shelves, toy chests for the kids. There's something therapeutic about building something with your hands. After watching everything you love collapse, I also started writing. Journals, mostly, trying to process, heal, grow. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever fully trust again. I've been on a few dates, but it's hard. I find myself flinching at small lies, panicking at late replies. I'm working on it. Pain changes you. It sharpens some parts and softens others. I'm more present now, with my kids, with my thoughts, with myself. I'm no longer living in the shadows of what was. I'm trying to find joy again. One day, Jacob asked if Mommy and I would ever be a family again. I knelt down, looked into his eyes, and told him the truth. We'll always be your family. But sometimes people stop being good to each other, and the best thing they can do is be honest and kind from a distance. He nodded. I think he understood more than I expected. I still dream about Mark sometimes. Nightmares, mostly, him smiling at Laura, them laughing, and me, watching from the outside, powerless, but I always wake up. And every time I do, I remind myself, I survived. I'm still standing, and that, more than anything, is victory.